Alright, folks, we're here making a video. It's a little bit different content. I've got some superstars with me, superstars in my mind anyways. I drove 7 hours to get here, okay? Today we're gonna tell y'all a little bit what this vlogging business is really about. Y'all watch the videos and often we say things like, you know, so much stuff goes into this. These clowns over here, man. Anyways, we're gonna show y'all the real deal today, tell y'all about it. Y'all stick around. I think y'all are gonna like this. We're on? All right, so what we're gonna do today, I'm about 2 years into this vlogging venture, and I've had some great people try to teach me some things, and I've taken advice from a lot of people, but I've got Nerd Locations here. Awesome, he's the OG back from the photo days from the 90s actually. Been around the game forever. Scott on Tape, sorry. One of the guys I look up to when it comes to doing these videos. He's taught me a ton. We've met several times, and it's been a great help. And we're gonna basically just throw it around the table today and do a discussion about what this vlogging stuff is really like. You know, Scott's got 1,000 stories he can share, and I'm gonna share some. And it's not all glamorous as it seems. And you guys start doing it, yeah.
We have salsa on the table, but nothing. My salsa makes all the pretty girls want to dance with salsa. My salsa.
You see what we deal with, okay? But
you have to be a character to be in this hobby.
Yes.
You have to have a sense of humor.
You have to have a sense of humor and be slightly insane.
Slightly.
Yes.
To take on some of the tasks.
Yeah, so it's a huge time. You know, we put hours. I drove 7 hours just to get up here a couple of days ago. Of course, hotels. Yeah, to see these awesome guys. It's well worth it, you know, but...
And that's the thing.
Well, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
We'll start with this. That's the thing that always surprises me. Scott drove from Toronto on this trip. You drove from Alabama. So, distance-wise, is this the farthest you've driven for a location?
No, I've been to Texas. I've been to Dallas, so 10 hours. This is up there, though.
10 hours. What about you, Scott? What's the farthest you've driven?
Well, I've driven to Florida and back many times, but I think probably the first, I drove into Texas once, but I flew to Texas. But one time I was in South Dakota, then I drove to Wyoming from South Dakota, which was another 7 hours to get to the location. So I don't know how far technically that is from Toronto, Laramie, Wyoming, but I've driven. I used to drive 6-7 hours a day. Now I cut it off at max 3. I've had to do 4 a couple of times, and 5, 2 days ago, yesterday. Yeah. But I try to only do 3 hours a day, stop in a city, got to see the city, get a video. Because you waste half your time in the car driving if you do 7-hour days. Yeah. So I just take my time now.
Yeah,
and
so,
you know.
And what we have to do, man, whenever you do these, you know, sometimes on those 6-hour drives, he talks about, we'll have little small videos we can do on the way, and you have to do that. You have to find the little things, you know. It's like you try to do as much as you can, maximize your time. Me and Rand were talking about that earlier today, you know. Maximize every hour you have, and it's just, there's so much money. It's not a negative thing. I know it sounds like that for me, but so much time and energy and everything put into this that a lot of people watch these videos, and it's like a 20-minute video, and they watch it and they're done with it, and it's like, I put my heart into that. You know, we put our souls into it, and it's like...
I find that a lot of people recognize it, though. They say a lot of heart. You could tell, especially if they've met you and filmed with you, they were like, wow, a lot more goes into this than they thought. But yeah, it's you know, it's a constant road, hotel room, or wherever you're staying, and then getting out, the filming part, the research, then the editing at night. It's 24/7. It really is.
Yeah,
it doesn't end.
That's true, because you appreciate it being on this side of it. Your Jerry Lee Lewis video, I think you just posted, I knew you went way out of the way to do that. So when it came up, I'm like, let me give this a watch just to see, because I knew you must have really wanted to do that video.
Yes.
Because you drove how far out of the way just to do that one video?
I was 2.5 hours from any major city, and it was also not on. It was off my route. I was going in a circle down through the south over to Florida, so I had to go to circle, then jet out 2.5 hours, and then 2.5 hours back. So an extra 5 hours added on to do that, and it's literally the middle of nowhere where Jerry Lee Lewis is. But I've been looking up that location for over a year because I knew his family was out there.
But that's one of those spots where in the middle of driving, you go, if I broke down right here, I'm screwed.
Yeah, there was a couple of roads where there. Yeah, I mean, there was no reception in some places, and also I showed a lot of the drive at the beginning to show how desolate out there it is in the Louisiana swamplands and the bayous. Yeah. Louisiana, it's just
parishes.
Yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, it's 2 hours from Baton Rouge, 2 hours from Shreveport, 2 hours from Jackson, Mississippi. Then there's nothing.
And see, I know where you were, because I was down there recently, and you were going east on that highway, and I forget which one it is, but it's directly south of the main highway, and it's like you said, a couple of hours off. There's nothing down there.
It was a great drive, and there was no other cars. It was overcast. It was getting ready to rain. It was raining during the video, thank goodness, not when I was driving. But beautiful drive. I mean, it was all swamps and quiet, nobody around me. Listening to Jerry Lee Lewis, I loved it.
Oh,
Crocodiles.
And another thing, I wouldn't trade with this hobby for anything. It's one of the most favorite things I've ever done in my life. And I've met amazing people, and even on the road and outside of the guys I film with, just people in general. When you go and you're making contact with people all the time. And my biggest push is one of the things I do the videos for is to make it where people who otherwise can't get to these locations can see them. Because a lot of your mainstream media sometimes won't cover the things the way we cover them.
Right.
We cover them much more in-depth, specialized in that thing. And a lot of people can never go do the things we do.
Right. Yeah.
There are moments that are scary, though. Like in Death Valley at the U2 Joshua Tree location, I was out there last year, and I'm literally out there going, if something happened, hypothetically, I'm dead. Like, there's nobody around to save me. Yeah. Like, if you've ever been to Death Valley, I don't know if you've been to Death Valley.
Not.
I mean, you're where the Joshua Tree actually is. It's off of, 180, 190?
Yeah,
the highway that goes through.
You could park and you have to walk another half mile.
Oh, yeah, and people now have people have ruined it because they're driving to it because they don't want to make that walk. You see the road? There's a little road that people have.
Right off the road.
Yeah, you got to park and you have to walk into the desert. Otherwise, you're missing the experience. People have now, there's almost a man where people drive into it. But once you're out there, and snake hole, and the rattlers. There's rattlesnakes out there. If you get bit by a rattlesnake out there, you're done. You got 20 minutes to get to your car still, and then by the time if you're by yourself in Death Valley, which I've been many times, it can get stifling hot, and just you can't even breathe almost.
Oh yeah. I had the same thing happen to me in Waco, Texas, later in the last section of last year. I was out there and I didn't take any water with me, and I went to the compound, and I was out there for like 5 hours. It was 107 for 6 days straight.
Wow.
And I didn't realize how dehydrated I had gotten. And when I left there, the first gas station I found, I bought 6 bottles of water, and I was like, I will never travel ever again without water in the back seat ready to go.
Oh yeah.
It was horrible. I mean, so.
Yep. You do some danger. When I went to the Kobe Bryant crash location, I didn't think I was going to do it that day. I was doing something else. I even put up yet a video near, and I looked at the name of the road, and I said, that sounds very familiar. And I just drove down the street to this dog park that I saw some people, and I was like, I'll ask them. I couldn't get reception.
Yeah.
So I was like, that road sounds familiar. And I asked the gentleman walking his dog in the dog park, and he said, yes, the Kobe crash site's right up there.
Yeah.
I said, how close? He goes, 10 minutes. I said, really? It was maybe 20. And I said, how long? Because he's like, well, it depends. And I said, it seems like it's a lot further. He goes, just follow that path. He goes, it might take you a while, but you'll get there. Yeah. If you're not prepared, and it was the longest walk of my life, up a mountain and then across, and with no water, not prepared to make that. Already filming the full day.
Yeah.
If anything happened to me out there, it's in the middle of the mountains. I really highly suggest preparing because I wasn't prepared. But once I got there, it was very humbling and very, very sad, and to see what everybody's left. So a lot of people still make that walk.
Yeah.
But bring water and a friend.
If y'all haven't seen, we're just flying off the cuff here. We don't have any plan. We're just y'all might as well be sitting here with us. We're just talking amongst friends. And I'm going to pose a question.
Coke.
Yeah, have some Coke. Some of this salsa. So I'm going to pose a question. They don't have any idea what I'm fixing to say. So Scott, I'm going to ask you first. You're quick on the wit.
Fix it up.
What is your favorite video you've done so far?
That's tough. There's been a few. Always ones where where I'm having fun, where I'm pretending to play in a character, which is something I only do rarely. So like my Florida videos, telling my Florida home. But probably the one that I've done recently is my Buddy Holly video, the Buddy Holly crash site, because I really put a lot of work into that. The sky and the fields are the star of that video to me, more than even the crash day and Buddy Holly. It was so overcast and windy, but I did it, and I thought the way it looks, I thought it looked beautiful. And YouTube crashed on the day I put it out, so it got no views right away. It killed it, and for 2 days it was all the algorithm was messed up. Finally fixed itself. Now it's doing good views, but I really wish more people had seen it. So that one, and then Matthew Shepard, the boy who was murdered in Laramie, Wyoming, was the one that I drove for. There's another one. It's probably my favorite because it took a long time to get there, and again, the skies and everything around it adds so much to the video.
So Rayan doesn't have a ton of videos out yet, but he's been doing photos since the 90s. So your question will be, what's the one location that you went to do your photos over your career of doing it that was the wow moment, that was like the bucket list or whatever you call it?
Well, going back to what you were saying about the videos, video tip, my wow moment was my first vlog.
I know.
My first vlog co-starred this guy and Adam DeWoo, which is who starts out on the Warner Ranch. Who comes out and flexes that hard?
Who was
as a flex,
Who
with
flexes
the branch,
Who flexes that hard and goes, I'm at the ranch with Scott and Adam DeWoo. So my vlogging career peaked very early. So, but as far as photos go, you know, I like music history and old Hollywood history.
Me too,
like,
music.
Like I got some photos of the Beastie Boys at Loyola Marymount. Is that how you say it? Right near LAX, and it still looks the same. And I got some Marilyn Monroe photos. That, you know, everything still lines up, and it's just like you're standing there and you're just going. You're looking at the photo to line it up, and you're going, wait a minute. This is where the Beastie Boys were. This is where Run DMC was. This is where Motley Crue was hanging out. This is where Marilyn Monroe or James Dean, and you know, you go to Griffith Observatory, you can see where James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause, was shot. Just everything's still the same, and you just get that feeling of it's like the closest thing to a time machine you can get. You know, so I don't really I don't have one that stands out. One of my favorites was in Alabama Hills, which is out in the desert. The Tremor. You remember the movie Tremors with Kevin Bacon? I was on the rock, where the graboids were coming to get him, and so I took a picture on the rock. That's one of my favorites. But
that's cool, man.
Yeah, I have thousands of photos, so it's hard to narrow it down. But as far as my vlogs, I'm getting into it. But the thing I find, and you guys can tell me what you think about this. Nobody warned me when I started doing vlogs, but the worst part about it is editing. That's.
Dude.
I think their faces say it all.
I mean, it's fun. It's sometimes edit when you're editing a video that I love them all. Every video you do, I think you would agree, is your baby. Doesn't matter, you know. So I'm just like, because each one means something to me. But it's getting. So I'll start editing right away a video, and then I go back to it maybe in a week or 2 weeks, and I just dread. Then I think of the point where I'm like, I gotta get a video up for the next day, and I'm dreading it. And then, but once you get to that end, and once you're like, that's it, it's done. It's the best feeling ever. And you actually look back at it, and then I'm like, oh, I love editing. And then I start again, I hate it.
It's a cycle.
But here's the
love it and I hate it.
Here's my question to you, Scott. I have videos that are 6 months old that I haven't edited. How do you find the energy to go back and reinvest yourself in that video and go, you know what, let me make this a video now, and it being so old? Because I know how it is when you first make a video you're really excited about and you have the energy to edit it. I've done that like with the one I did with you guys, but I have some that it's just been sitting in my phone. I'm just like, I don't even have energy to edit this, but it's going to make a good video.
Some of my biggest videos that hit the biggest, I didn't upload until 6 months to a year after I shot them.
Wow.
Because I don't think about it in terms of what's going to get the highest views or what. I'm thinking at that moment, I always think day by day, well, what's the next video that will go complement the one that's before, or what's completely different from the one before. I don't want to put up 2 in a row that are similar. And I've got videos still 2 years ago. Anything 2 years past, because I've got videos 4 years ago, I put up 5 years ago. Anything from 2 years ago, I'm not going to put up. The last 2 years, I've filmed so many that are not up yet, and I'll just one day be like, okay, I want to do that one. And I've got the footage, and I have to look in my notes to remember what I filmed, but I can look at the footage and immediately I'm taken back to that day, and I'm like, oh, I would have said this. I know what's coming next. I know I did this. I know I would have done, and I'm like waiting for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, there, I covered myself by saying something.
Yeah.
So I'm good about that, but I'm not good at remembering what I filmed once I put it up.
Right.
Like I've gone to some location, I've been like, I did this,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh man, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. But I think I have close to 1,000 now, or 900 or 1,000.
Yeah, you're up. Yeah.
Uploaded. I don't know.
So another add-on to what Scott just said, and I've done it several times, is even worse than that is when you get home and you look at the footage and you're really passionate about this video that you just shot, and you messed up on something or you missed a shot, and then or you edit it and you don't like it, you have to go reshoot the whole video again.
Yeah.
Done it, been there, and that to me was one of the worst letdowns. I've had a couple of videos that way.
I just had a video I shot with a bigger YouTube channel, and I lost all my audio from the intro and outro,
done it,
and
yeah.
I didn't realize it till about 20 minutes after Ron, his name's Ron, Faces of Those Forgotten, great channel, he had already left to drive north. I couldn't call him and say, come back now, it's all gone.
Yeah.
So I got to figure out how I'm going to edit just 5 minutes of audio, then beginning and the end, none. And then as soon as he left, I started talking again, the audio came back. It was actually an airboat that blew out the mic on my camera phone.
Yeah.
I mean the mic. So it blew it out for a good 10 minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
Wouldn't work.
Oh yeah.
So I would say if you're starting a YouTube channel, don't do what I do, because I don't check the footage. I want to get away from where I film, so I don't keep rethinking what can I film more. I will try to get away and I check the footage later that night if so. But check your footage and check your sound right after. Otherwise, you could drive home and be like, I have no sound. I filmed it in black and white.
So that kind of leads into where. Do you have any more questions, Ryan?
No, I just piggybacking on what Scott was saying is that my mistakes early on, which was crazy. In the first video, these guys had to teach me how to hold the phone.
I remember that.
Oh my god!
You're holding it portrait
Yeah, I
style.
was like this. And
I had to keep literally doing this. Like no.
But even after that, so I'm like, I'm on my own doing my own vlogs.
Yeah.
And the worst would be is I'd hit record and really I'd already be recording.
turn it off.
And I'd turn it off.
Yeah.
And I'd go back to the hotel and look at the footage.
I still do that.
I still
I still
did it yesterday, matter of fact.
press it, then I don't notice I press it again. I start talking. I'm like, why is the red light not flashing?
Yep.
Why? What the hell? Like,
Yep.
And sometimes it takes a while to. Like
Yep.
you saw, we filmed it today. It took me 5 times to get the intro right because I couldn't
Yeah.
remember where we were. And,
Exactly, yeah.
And
Yeah. So a lot of times we have, we're on these trips and we'll have 5, 6 stories we're trying to get done in the next 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Right.
And all of that is in your brain, and it's hard to do. We all do multiple retakes. We've all shot retakes today, and it'll never stop. That's part of the business.
Well, I do multiple retakes of the opening, but nothing else.
I do the outros a lot.
Yeah, the outros I always keep. There's only a couple times I had to redo the outro because, but anything you see in my videos throughout, if I've redone it, I don't think about what I just said because I like the natural sounding thing. I don't want to sound rehearsed.
Yeah.
So, and if you've watched my channel, you know I'm not rehearsed because sometimes I'll just go off on whatever. But I like the just filming and like whatever I got.
So we're starting to get a little bit of traffic in here, a little bit of stuff going on. So we're going to wrap it up. How far are we into this? About 20?
17:31.
Okay, this is about a good time. So let's do some closing statements. We're going to wrap it up.
Closing
And get out of
statements.
here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. So I got you first last time, so I'll get Ray in this time. Any last little tidbit of information, advice? Maybe the photo side of you can talk about that some. Anything that you would give a young and aspiring.
Oh man.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
Young and inspiring people in the hobby.
Yeah.
Most people don't go for just the photos anymore. That's kind of like ancient. I'd say just start with what you love. Start with your passions first because that's what you're going to be most into. That's what you're going to get in your car to go drive and get. That's what you're going to go do the research and don't do it for the likes or views because that'll come after you do what what you're really into. Like what Scott was saying, what got me into Scott in the beginning before I even knew him was I knew he was doing stuff he liked. And, his personality showed through and, it kind of hooked me as a viewer. And now we're buddies and I watch him do videos. I'm like, I know he's into it.
oh man, yeah.
But
We're all passionate about the stories we do. That's for sure. I mean,
that'd be my advice is just to start with something you love. Whether it's rock and roll, rap, hip hop, movie stars, circuses, roadside attractions, museums, whatever you're into, there's an audience for it.
All right.
Somewhere.
So Scott, you go next. Any advice you give a up and comer
Well,
or a wannabe like me?
quote. I think it's Derek in Spinal Tap who said, have a good time all the time.
That's it. Yeah.
Right? Was it Derek who said it? Was it
Derek Smalls.
Derek Smalls? That was one of those things. I would say, you know what? If you're gonna start a YouTube channel, don't be passionate. Love what you do. Want to do it. Do what you know. And if you want to learn about stuff, like, you know, then that's great too. But do what you know, and don't expect, you know, unless you're married to a famous person or you're famous, don't expect to be successful right away.
No.
Or huge right away. It takes a long time, but don't give up. Never give up. And always reach out to other YouTubers. And if they say that they don't want to film with you because you're too small, then you remember their name when you get bigger than them.
Awesome.
And just always be a good person and think positive. And you will, if you think positive and you be positive, you will be a success.
And that, I think,
that permeates through the camera,
Yeah.
through the lens, through the viewer. If you're a good person, I think.
And don't be afraid to make a mistake, because
Yeah.
everybody's videos, I've seen everybody get something wrong at some point, but you just gotta, you know what, keep it moving. You know, don't let that mistake
Yep.
hold you up and make you go, oh, I gotta crush this whole video. No, just keep it in, keep going.
So if somebody pisses you off, throw hot coffee at them.
Yes.
That just says,
Always.
I'm here and I mean business.
And so all three of us have the same answer pretty much. Mine's going to be do your passion. I've gotten away from that a little bit in some ways and getting back into it now as far as what I'm loving this weekend. It's what I want to get back to. Number two is do not expect instant success.
You know,
I'm not
some
gonna-
people, I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Far
but
and few
I don't
between.
see it, yeah.
It's definitely the
Takes a long time.
takes a while to get there, but if it's your passion, you'll keep doing it. And I think that's all of our advice. I mean, that's the universal statement that comes out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, do what you love what you do, and if you're genuine with it, and we're genuine with our stories, the ones we do, we pick them. We can pick any story we want to do. We choose
No, it has
these.
to speak to me. It has to be something that I want to do. Otherwise, it's just not. I'm not into it. You know?
So from the table here at, what's the name of the restaurant again?
Las Margaritas.
Las Margaritas
in
Scott
Charlotte,
on
North Carolina.
tape on YouTube. Go to locations on YouTube. Of course, y'all know me, Big Bake on the Move. Thank y'all for joining in. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.